Hello guys, today I'm going to show you how to make these really cute lollipop and sweetie charms in wrappers. So for this you'll need some translucent clay and any other colours of clay you want to use for your sweets. And you'll also need a little bit of white clay for the lollipop stick. And you'll also need some blades, rolling pin, smoothing tool, dotting tools if you're going to be painting, any basic tools like that. So first you're going to take your pink clay or any clay that you're going to use for the lollipop and just make it into a little ball and flatten it out. And you're also going to take your white clay and make this into a little log shape and attach this to the bottom to make it look like the lollipop stick. And you're going to blend this in slightly with a blending tool. And don't worry if it looks a little bit messy, you're going to be putting translucent clay on top, so it won't show underneath the clay as much. So once that's all added on, you're going to take your translucent clay and roll this out into a very thin sheet. The thinner the clay, the more translucent it is and the more of the lollipop that you see through it. So just roll this out and then cut one edge off so you have one straight edge, and put your lollipop on top so you can gauge the size of the clay that you need. So you're basically going to put your lollipop on top of this and cut around in a square. I'm sorry my hand gets in the way, I really don't notice when I'm recording, but you get what I'm trying to do, I hope. So I'm just using the blade to help me lift the charm off the desk. And then you're simply going to repeat this with the other side. So roll out some more translucent, cut off one edge and lay the lollipop on top, and then cut around in a square, the same size as the square that you just put on. So then before you blend the pieces together, you can add your eye pin if you want this to be a charm. Just add it in the lollipop in between the translucent clay, and then use your fingers to pinch the edges together. And then use a needle tool or some sort of pointed tool, something with a sharp edge maybe, and create indentations all around to make it look like the wrapper for the lollipop. And then I'm going to show you how to make the sweetie charm. So you're basically going to take a ball of clay and wrap a thin sheet of translucent around it. It can be quite tricky to get this to look right, and I would just work very slowly, just carefully smooth the clay, pull it a little bit, try not to rip it. If you do rip it or tear it, just smooth it back down with your finger or with the smoothing tool. Cut off any excess and smooth it down with your fingers, roll it about into a ball again. Do anything you can to make it look as neat as you possibly can. Next you're going to take 2 small balls of translucent clay and roll these out a little bit. You don't want them too thin because these are going to be the side pieces for your candy wrapper. So if you just cut one edge off and then fold it in the middle and try and shape it to how you want it to be. It does take a little bit of time to get these to look right as well because they're an odd shape to make. It took me around 3 attempts to try and make one of these pieces. But once you're done, just cut one of the edges off so you can easily attach it to your sweet. and use the smoothing tool just to blend it in place and keep it secure. So next you can add an eye pin. I strongly suggest using translucent liquid Sculpey for this, just to make sure it's nice and secure. But if you don't have that, then just pop the eye pin in, bake the charm, and then if the eye pin falls out, just glue it back in place. So now you bake your pieces, and this is what they look like when they are baked. As you can see, the translucent does go translucent and you can't see the colour through it. So just take some dotting tools, and you're going to be using these to paint with. I actually use nail polishes to paint with because I don't have any acrylic paints with me at the moment. But these work really well. They work just the same as normal paints. As long as you glaze your charms, they are nice and secure. So my pink is a little bit too dark, so I'm just adding some white to make it paler. And I just mix this up with the dotting tool itself and just simply dot this on the charm. You can use a brush if you prefer, but I prefer dotting tools because you get the perfect circle with them. So after that, you're simply going to add on the eyes just above the blush. I add the blush first because I like to have the eyes slightly overlapping, but you can add them however you want. I didn't add a mouth either, but you can add one of those if you want to. And then take a tiny dotting tool and add some white for highlights on the eyes. And then once you've done that, you can glaze them, and then you are done. So I hope you enjoyed this tutorial. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye bye!